What's good, your Black World? This is Aaron Johnson checking in quickly. And this is just a quick one. I was just glancing and looking at articles on, I think it was Yahoo News or something like that. I think after I was checking my email, and I saw the Kelly and Michael Strahan thing, Kelly Rippa and Michael Strahan nonsense that's going on with them. There's some sort of beef that they have, or that she has with him, because he's leaving live with Kelly and Michael to go on to Good Morning America or something like that, and he didn't tell her or whatever, as if he's some sort of child or her son, or, you know, she said she was looking for consideration and respect and whatever, but he didn't tell her, so she had an attitude, and she left work and basically gave her bosses an ultimatum and went on vacation with her family, which was kind of weird to me, because I know if I did something like that, if I had a problem with a coworker of mine, and I told my boss that I'm not coming back until they are fired or until they leave or something that insane, I would lose my job. So I guess we live in two different worlds, but it just reminded me, because of how the world works, because the media, they're not painting her as like a bad person for doing this. They're not, you know, she's not being attacked really personally or anything like this. They're justifying some of her actions, and it just reminded me of how that slave Stephen A. Smith allowed, he had a position on domestic violence or something like that, with there was an NFL suspension, Ray Rice or something like that, and he had a position that his white female coworker didn't take too kindly to. She didn't like it, and she went to social media against company policy to attack him on it, and he ends up, you know, at the end of the day, he ends up apologizing to her, which was kind of, to me, I don't understand that either. Company policy says you're not supposed to go to social media to talk about another coworker. She did it. She did not get disciplined, and he ends up apologizing to her. So this Kelly Rippa and Michael Strahan situation just kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It's you know, when a lot of times when we're talking about minority, unfortunately, you know, black people sometimes use that word. It's just like using the word people of color. A lot of folks don't like that because it includes so many other folks, and it kind of takes the focus off of black people. But a lot of times when that word minority is used, the women throw themselves in the mix. I should say white women throw themselves or really throw themselves, excuse me, in that mix, and to almost sometimes overshadow the plight of black people that has happened even in our civil rights movement. So just thinking about that kind of upset me a little bit. It bothered me a little bit, because it's like, you know, she's gonna play this card out, you know, on her show, as if, you know, there was really an offense. I've been offended on my job. I've been disrespected, and I handled it. I still had to come into my job and teach. I still had to be an educator. I couldn't, you know, fold my arms and stomp my feet and pout and give my boss an ultimatum. That would get you fired. I couldn't take my ball and go home. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, I'm angry, I'm taking my basketball and going home. No one else can play. You know what I mean? Like what she did was so ridiculous, and however, it was allowable. And I don't know if it's that card that she was trying to pull, that you know, that I was disrespected, even though he really didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, he didn't communicate. Yeah, he wasn't considerate. Okay, what does that mean? You know, did he break any laws? Did he mess your life up? You know, are you not going to now get paid? So it was very weird. It was very telling, you know, because these are those two incidences, the one with Stephen A. Smith and his coworker, and this Kelly Ripper thing, are things that kind of, you know, highlight this pathology here, that, you know, certain people can be wronged at work, and they can have these gripes, and they can do things that are antithetical to the rules of their workplace, and they won't get in trouble. However, if somebody like me did it, I'd be looking for a job. So it's sick. It just reminds me of that old, you know, even when people, or even when liberals get on that liberal perch, and they talk about how much they care and how much, you know, diversity and multiculturalism and so on and so forth should happen, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you put people in certain positions and they show their true colors. You know, her actions and actions of these other, in that other instance, reminds me of Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who was an abolitionist. However, when a black man got the right to vote before white women, she lost her mind and said, how do you give the lowest orders of mankind the right to vote before your own wives and mothers and daughters and things of that nature? So she went on a tear. So it doesn't mean, you know, just because you have the point of that whole position that I just took was that it doesn't mean just because you have a liberal, you know, perch that you're normally on doesn't mean you can't dabble off into racism, you can't dabble off into privilege. And I think that Kelly Ripa kind of dabbled right into her white privilege and knew that she can leave work and go on vacation and, you know, and pout about a situation that happened at work without actually going through the proper channels of management and taking care of it the right way. She understood that she wasn't going to get fired. She understood that she wasn't going to get disciplined. Now she's championed. I just wonder if Michael Strahan, if he did that on the inverse, would it end up the same way? This is Aaron Johnson. Just a quick one, signing off. Peace.